Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons Ritual, and I'm here to talk about Jupiter stationing direct. It's going to happen tomorrow on December 31st, the last day of 2023. And if you're like me, I'm looking forward to 2024, that's for sure. So let's talk a little bit about Jupiter stationing direct. Jupiter right now is in Taurus. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and we've just moved out of Sagittarius season and into Capricorn season. Um, when the sun goes into Capricorn, that is winter, so we're now in winter. Jupiter is the planet of luck, gifts, and expansion, but it's also the planet of faith. And I think that's really important. In one way, the more we work with our faith, the more things do expand in our lives. If we kind of keep on that track. Now, in its lower vibe, Jupiter can get over, or Jupiter slash Sagittarius can make us feel overwhelmed because sometimes we overcommit. Sometimes because we know we can get things done. We'll say yes to a lot of things and then be like, why did I do this to myself? And so, and it could be like exaggeration, right? On its lower vibe. So Jupiter in Taurus, right? Taurus is fixed earth. Taurus represents money. Taurus represents how we value ourselves, how we value others, how we value our time. Taurus to me is very creative. Um, Taurus is who rules Taurus? Oh, Venus is ruled by Venus. So it is how we love ourselves and how we love others. So what's interesting about this Saturn stationing direct on the 31st is, to me, I see it as it's a huge planet, right? And it's been retrograde and now it's going to station direct and start moving forward through Taurus. And to me, it's stationing direct at 5 degrees of Taurus. And that's really important because that 5 degrees of Taurus is where we had our lunar eclipse on October 28th. Okay, and that was that full moon lunar eclipse. It was also known as the shedding moon, right? It's the blood moon, but it's also known as the shedding moon because that's when we're moving into that time of fall when the deer are shedding their antlers, right? They're releasing. And so this turning direct is on that exact same point of that lunar eclipse. So what were you guys releasing at that time? But also what was being illuminated at that time? That was the last eclipse on that Scorpio Taurus axis, okay? And Scorpio rules, you know, secrets. Scorpio is transformation. Scorpio is emotion because Scorpio is fixed water, right? And Taurus is fixed earth. And so whatever was happening along those ideas, Taurus again, money, how we value ourselves. Scorpio rules other people's money, right? So that lunar eclipse was happening right there at 5 degrees Taurus, involving those two signs. Now we have Jupiter stationing direct, starting to go forward at 5 degrees of Taurus. So again, to me, it's like it's opening up space in fixed Earth. It's opening up a new portal, if you will, to bring in new energy. We're okay with letting what we were shedding in October, right? What things came up in October where we decided maybe to let go of old ideas of how we see ourselves or talk about ourselves with money or other people's money. What do we find value in now, right? That this Jupiter stationing direct is going to bring in a lot more peace, a lot more harmony, a different way of um, how we value ourselves, how we see other people's money, how we want to go forward. So this is a really beautiful turning point because we kind of started doing all the work back on October 28th. And now when Jupiter starts to move direct, on that eclipse point, Jupiter wasn't even in the mix back then. But what's tying it together is that it's using that same 5 degrees of Taurus. So it's hitting that same energy point, if you will, in Taurus, where the eclipse was. And so it's bringing in new, I want to say new information, but new energy for sure. It's expanding what was already there. So if you were shedding some old skin or shedding some old stories, it's helping that go even further, right? It's helping to bring in this new story. Um, what's also important, I just can't, like, in my mind, I just see like if you were to put, something on the earth and make it expand in order to bring in a new place, like a new garden, for things to grow, right? That's how I see it. It's expanding a new thing. So those old stories can and have to fall away, um, in order to bring in new stories about ourselves, new ways of us feeling grounded, right? Because it isn't fixed earth. It's Taurus is ready for this new creation. And Taurus has had Uranus in its sign now, I don't know, since 2017, and that's been really hard for Taurus. So I feel like this is what it's all been leaning up to. It's all been helping this part out to get this Jupiter in there. Because Uranus has been churning Taurus for years now, to get the soil tilled up. And that's hard, right? When we work with these fixed signs, it's a lot because they're fixed. And so we're working towards that Pluto moving to January. On January 20th, Pluto at 0 degrees in Aquarius, right? And that's what we've been working for. So these fixed signs have been working overtime for years. And like again, when I say what's in those fixed signs, we feel it a lot because it's like, pulling something up by the roots and saying, okay, we've got to do something differently. And that even though that energy has been very well established, and now we are getting rid of that established energy, I guess is the best way to say it. So um another good thing is that the sun is in Capricorn, right? So that's really beautiful because a lot of this has to do with the way we work, the way we value ourselves, the way we value our time. Um, what do we want to plant to see it grow? Are we seeing that we can make our gardens a little bit smaller but more abundant, right? Or can we see that maybe it's time to expand the garden a little bit more, right? Because Capricorn, the sun is in Capricorn, and that is the sign of work. And we're having this beautiful sextile with Saturn, who's in Pisces, right? And I just in the Jupiter and Pisces are sextiling each other. No, Jupiter and Saturn are sextiling each other. Saturn right now is around 5 degrees of Pisces, and Jupiter is at that 5 degrees of Taurus. And so they're sextiling. That's a great energy. It's bringing in some stability, right? So as Jupiter's expanding, I really think that's going to keep us grounded, right? I really think this is going to keep us being okay with saying no. It's going to help us see the right boundaries, right? And be like, this is what I want to focus on in this coming year, when before we felt like we had to focus on everything and get it all done. And Saturn sitting its ass in Pisces is really helping us move out of that because it's helping us see through the illusion. Saturn, who rules Capricorn, is making us feel stable, right? And it's making us see like we can bring these dreams, right? Pisces is dreams into reality, but these are the correct steps to take us to get there, right? Kind of cutting through the bullshit, kind of cutting through all the smoke and mirrors, kind of cutting through like, I don't know, right? We do know. So we're starting to listen. Again, that full moon lunar eclipse at this degree point is all about our intuition. And so we've got to keep listening to this intuition. Right now the moon is in Leo, but we're hitting that degree point where that lunar energy is. And that lunar energy is our intuition. So start listening to your intuition, start seeing what's coming up tomorrow, today even. We should be feeling this energy. It should feel pretty good. Because Jupiter, when it's hitting it, we're jovial with things that we can do it. We feel good. We're optimistic, that's Sagittarius, that's Jupiter at its highest point, right? Knowing we might feel a little uncomfortable, but it's okay to feel uncomfortable because we're going to be learning new things, which is going to make our lives better. That's Jupiter at its highest point. And it's sitting there in fixed Earth Taurus, who's like, okay, let's nurture this. Let's make some expansion to make this happen. Okay. So I probably will come back on January 1 because that's when Mercury turns direct, which is a great way because now we're getting bombarded by all this new energy. We're listening to our intuition. We're seeing how we can work better, smarter, be more stable, and then we're going to be able to talk about it come January 1st. So the universe is lining up beautifully for us, folks. And also, this sextiling energy of Saturn with Jupiter is going to move with us all the way through February because in February, Jupiter and Saturn will sextile again at 7 degrees of Pisces. And I guess Jupiter will be at 7 degrees of Taurus. We'll see. Okay, you guys, till then, have a happy and safe New Year's Eve. Um, you know, whatever you do about what do you call those resolutions, see what's coming in this year, see how they're different from years past, okay? Because 2024 is going to be a big year. It's the number 8, so that's the strength card in Tarot. And maybe we'll talk about that on the first too. And it's strength in a different way, right? Not just brute force strength, but that beautiful strength that comes when we believe in ourselves. Okay, till then, Happy New Year's for tomorrow. 2 days, Happy New Year's Eve for tomorrow. And I'll see you guys soon.